Hello and welcome. My name is Gretchen Meisner. I am a professional medium and a long-time spiritualist. I have been inspired to put together a brief talk about what to expect at a spiritualist church service. Many people ask me about this, and so I thought it would be great to have it out there somewhere where I could refer people and they could get the whole um, explanation all in one experience. So, anytime as a spiritualist, when we begin an experience together, we typically will open with a prayer and close with a prayer. So, in the main purpose of a prayer, I would say, is just to kind of tune our attention into the awareness of God, our guides, and our loved ones who are around us. They're always there, but it's wonderful to invite them in and to make them a part of any experience that we're having, like this. And so hopefully an added benefit is that you will feel your loved ones around, or at least a sense of peace, calm, and comfort, perhaps. Okay? So as I begin, I would like to say that I'm going to explain a little bit about what spiritualism is, why I love it so much, why I refer other people to it, and exactly what a spiritualist church service consists of. So I would say that I live in New Hampshire with my husband, our youngest son, and our dog, and we have two adult children who live on their own. And over the course of our family life, there have been times when I've been very involved in spiritualism and other times when I did not participate as much. But it was always there, a part of my life on different levels. And so I just want to say, first of all, that a spiritualism as a way of life is not something that it's expected. It's something there to serve us. It's there to enhance our lives and to provide a service to us by many, many volunteers who, like yourself and myself, perhaps want to give back what we've received in the past. And so sorry, there goes one of my adult children now. He's just here. But this is a casual recording. This is my beliefs and what I have experienced. I don't represent any particular church. I am a member, and I am also, seeking certification and credentials through one of the church organizations. But pretty much this is my perspective from where I am at in my own development. And I know that, as I grow, so does my love of spiritualism. I am certified outside of the church in all of the modalities which I use to serve at the church. I am a church facilitator. I facilitate services on occasion. I serve as a healer during services. I also am an inspired speaker, a medium, and a teacher. And I am certified in these different modalities, like I said, outside of the church. And many of the churches offer credentials as well. So basically, there are a lot of spiritualist organizations around, and if you do a search online, you'll find perhaps different organizations that can help you find a local church near you. There are often spiritualist churches that are not governed by a larger body and are independent. So if you type in spiritualist, that will usually help you to find them. Or you can ask a friend who may be connected to spiritualism as well. Spiritualism is typically a church and a religion for mediums. That's what it's known to be, but it's not mandatory. Although I find that most people who are guided to spiritualism are mediums and are at different stages of unfoldment. Some don't really quite realize that they are mediums yet, and others have been practicing mediumship on different levels through their whole life. So it's not required. There's no expectation. Everyone is welcome, whether you're a member or not. And spiritualism really is there for you. It's there for your own growth and development and to help support you along your path. I remember reading, at the very beginning of one book I read on spiritualism, the philosophy of spiritualism and the 7 principles is that spiritualism is there to help you in your growth, even if it means you grow away from spiritualism, which I thought was so beautiful when I read that. Hopefully, you continue once you find a place in spiritualism, or it finds a place in your heart, that continues for a lifetime, as I hope it will with me, and I expect it to. So the way I found myself in a spiritualist church was as, growing up as a medium, having lots of strange experiences, looking for guidance and others who could maybe help explain to me what was going on. So I read in a book that spiritualist churches have circles and development groups to help with this. So I found a local church maybe 2 miles from my house I never knew existed. And I went to a class, sat in a circle, and listened in this open circle to many other people kind of going around and sharing their stories. And as I listened, it opened up all these wonderful memories for me of my experiences that I didn't really realize. I just kind of took them for granted. And once it started, the floodgates opened and lots of great experiences followed. And through the volunteer circles that I joined, and later some that were paid by professional mediums, I opened up to my abilities and shared to the best of my ability in the church communities. So if you're here, you've followed your guidance, and now you're thinking about maybe going to a church service yourself. Perhaps you've heard about the healing chairs or that mediums give messages. Oftentimes people will report that basically they go to a church service just to feel good, to be in the spiritual energy, to be around like-minded people, and to be uplifted, which is really truly the goal of any spiritual church service. Typically, they last about 90 minutes and are broken into 3 sections. Often they will be on Sundays, but during the summer you might find that some churches are closed or they switch over to a weeknight. This allows the congregation members to perhaps go to other, there are spiritualist camps that are open during the summer, or for, travel on the weekend and so forth during the summer months. And I have personally gone to church services myself, or served in, as far as I live in New Hampshire, and there's a great church here, but also I've gone to many churches in Massachusetts, Maine, New York at Lilydale, New Jersey at Journey Within, Cassadaga in Florida, and even as far as the church services at Arthur Findlay College in England, where they train mediums. Great, it's awesome. And you'll also find, if you search, I've participated in online church services, And if I have a chance, or I will definitely actually put some links into the comment section of this recording. So when you attend a church service, it's come as you are. And the first half hour is typically, they might light candles for our loved ones to remember, our armed services or emergency service personnel. But it's typically surrounding healing. And most church locations will have a healing facilitator who will play music, who might read from the healing book, because every church has a book where the members can write the names of those who are in need of healing and who are prayed for regularly by church members. And during this time, which is usually about 20 minutes, sometimes it's part of the church service, sometimes it's before. Each church is different, and they have will have the schedule out, but the people, pretty much the parishioners, will sit in the silence and meditate, receive healing from our healing guides, and may choose to go up to a healing chair. So where up in the front or the back or in the aisles of the church will be placed healing chairs, and a healing medium will stand behind the chair and attune themselves to the spirit energy. And if you choose to sit in the healing chair, they might have a line for the chair that you get into, and then you go to the next available chair that's empty. Or some smaller churches, you can just go up and pick which chair you'd like to sit in, and you can sit in the front row and wait for the next chair to be open, or walk up when that person's healing chair is available. So when you sit in the chair, the medium might touch your shoulders or around your crown or around your head, depending on what the rules are at the church. But they basically channel healing energy to you. And if there's someone in your life who is in need of healing energy or a little jump start, you can send that beautiful healing energy to your person, wherever they are, in the hospital, at home, anywhere. And that's one of the greatest services that the Spiritualist Church provides to its members. And I truly, I love and appreciate that about the church so much. In the middle half hour, basically the church focuses on inspirational speaking. So they'll invite maybe a visiting medium or a medium from the church, will get up in front of the church and talk for 20 minutes or so about one of the principles and how it's applied to our daily life, and maybe tell a story about themselves, or something about the history. But it's oftentimes some portion of it's very pertinent to everyone who is in that experience that day. And oftentimes the mediums will channel on the spot their sermon or their talk to whoever happens to be present. It's just beautiful. I love that. And it's typically something that's very uplifting and pertinent to whatever the medium happens to be learning about life at their own stage of development. So that's awesome. And then in the third and the final stage, the medium will come back up, or perhaps there's a different medium that day. Well, if they're working together, and the mediums will come up and at the microphone stand and give messages to different parishioners in the congregation. So at this stage, the religion is telling us that we're proving that life continues after death. by showing spirit communication that is evidential. And so typically facts from that spirit's life will come in through the medium, maybe memories. And when you're in the congregation, you don't have to receive a message if you don't want to. Some mediums will ask. But, most people are pretty open to it. Occasionally, a person will be like, I don't want to hear from that person, and that's okay. There's no pressure. And the mediums are trained to just kind of let things go. If you can indicate to them in some way or another, they might let you know. A lot of times the medium, when they come to you, they will ask to say your name out loud, and they will start bringing information through from whatever spirit energy they feel around them. And it's up to you to kind of indicate by nodding or saying yes, whether, you can identify and recognize this, and then they'll go on to give you a message. It's considered to be a message service. And these interactions vary in time. Some churches like them to be 2 to 3 minutes, others up to 7 minutes. It depends on how the medium works. And so you might see 3 communicators in a service, and you might see 20. It just depends. I've been at services where the medium's actually gone to every single person in the church. In some churches, indirect mediumship is acceptable, where the medium will put the information out to the congregation, and it's up to you to kind of raise your hand or indicate in some way to the medium that you recognize the information. Sometimes there's more than one person, and so our loved ones can get multiple messages through, which is great. It's always awesome. And so other mediums will go direct, and they'll go directly to you, as I mentioned before. And, some people are shy. They don't want to receive a message, and that's okay. Other people are there just because they want to receive a message, and they just want it so badly to hear from their loved one. And, it doesn't always happen the first time, but it always happens eventually in my experience. And so, sometimes the purpose is just to see other people receiving messages as we open up gradually in our own development. Sometimes we need different things along the path. And, some people get to a point where they don't even need evidence anymore. They just know right away who's there. They can feel them themselves. And just getting a beautiful message or acknowledgement that our loved one is there and thinking about us is really all we need, And we used to visit each other when they were here, and so it's the same, really. And those are really the 3 main parts of the spiritualist service. So I hope that you found that to be helpful. If you do choose to go to a service, you can just kind of show up whenever you want to. We will sing hymns. Sometimes they're old-fashioned. Sometimes they're modern. And even a hymn can sometimes be, so healing. And it's really an amazing experience, and something that I fully endorse and encourage you to experience. Once you go to a church, if you find that you're comfortable there and you want to interact, that's great, but it's not required. I mean, you don't have to even stay for coffee. You can come in, get a message, get some healing, and go. There's no expectation, no pressure, nothing. And at some point, you may decide that you want to become involved or stay and get to know some of the people, perhaps attend a class at night. Many people just go to classes. They don't go to services because they're, that's what fits their lifestyle or their needs. And that's great too. So, churches survive on donation. There's no charge to come to a church service. And, but any donations, or if you're able to attend a workshop, it's always appreciated. So in closing, I would just like to thank you for being here. I would like to thank all of our loved ones for being here as well, and for the guides who inspired you and I to share this information with each other. And I hope to see you at a church service at some point in the future.